farmed with my brother, Gerald, in this area all our lives. I suppose years ago, we were mainly a sheep farm. You know, our father used to give us the odd paddy here and there to crop, and anyway, as time went on, I suppose the late 80s, we thought, well, it's probably time for a change, and we had a combine at that stage, and we just ripped the undercarriage off and put on some no-till tines and press wheels, and from there we just evolved. It got through to, I suppose, look, the late 90s and the early 2000s were pretty tough, and 2005 we thought we've got to make a change, so we did. We weren't we were going backwards. So from there, I suppose, look, we went and bought an air seeder. It was a fairly old flexi-coil with tines, and thought, yeah, we'll match this up, and 50 foot there, 100 foot boom. But you know, as time went on, we learned a lot more, and we made all the mistakes, I suppose. So we then went through, started lining things up. So we decided, well, 12 metres is what we wanted to go for. So we cut our bar down to 12 metres. We had a 12 metre header that was easy, and then the boom had to become obviously 36 metres. So we went down the controlled traffic line in 2005, and probably proceeded on to doing what we're doing now, and we've just made lots of mistakes and learnt lots from start to finish, and it's now rewarding. It's becoming very rewarding quite a few years later. It takes a few years, but you look back and you think, well, lots of mistakes made, but we're now looking ahead thinking, well, this is just fantastic. It's standing stubble is king. That's what we like. The more stubble, the more cover. It just seems to be hugely beneficial for a lot of reasons. We've got mates that have been doing this for longer than we had been, and they're all talking about creating a bigger bucket, and at that stage, well, you're thinking, what are they talking about? But what they're talking about, creating a bigger bucket, is basically allowing your soil to hold more moisture, and that all comes together with controlled traffic, retaining stubble, take the compaction out of it, as much compaction out of the whole operation as possible. So we have moisture probes and we can see how much water we've got in the ground and what we can access. We used to, I think when we first started, 2005 and 6, we could only access the first 30 centimetres of moisture. We could see that there was moisture all the way down to 1.3 or 4 metres, but we couldn't access it. Our roots would not penetrate. Everything starts at harvest time. You do really have to think about residue spreading at harvest time. It's hugely important. There's a lot of different ways you can do that these days. There's lots of add-ons that you can put on your header, and it's all about getting that residue spread to your whole 12 metres. Stubble height, also important. You know, it's depending on what you're going to sow there. If you're going to sow a stubble height is hugely important for, say, lentils. So it can be a trellis for them when they all fall over, and they always fall to the east. 2 centimetre steering is just hugely important. As you can see behind us, interrowing is also important, whether you've got a tine, a disc, or a tine with a coulter is actually probably quite good down the track in relation to sowing dry. A lot of people are scared of sowing dry, but it's nothing to be scared of. A disc is much better sowing dry than wet. It can be problematic. So both tine or disc have got their issues either way. To get away from it, you don't really need a disc seeder to get going. We coulters and our tines work beautifully. Your soils change over the years. You could probably go back to a tine now and do quite a good job. What would you say? It's a lot more friable than what it used to be. I think there's a lot of benefits to dry sowing. Your seed placement is generally nearly always better. We were always scared of dry sowing years ago, but I think a lot of those myths have been blown. Our stubble cover the fact that we know it's going to come up when it rains, we've proven that we can actually get crop up on an 8 mil break. Well, I think it's very important, if you can possibly do it, to sow the same way every year. If you follow those same lines next year, your whole interrowing is so much easier. It's good to get the AB lines right from the start, and that way you can keep them there forever. And there's lots of rules, I suppose. We try and take the longest. We've probably only got about 2 square paddocks on the whole farm, and we take the longest run we can. And if we're growing lentils, we will try and always have our lines north and south. If you're on flood country, we've got plenty of it. It'd be nice to think you can have your lines running the same way the water runs, because your control lines will act as channels and get that water off. Our row spacing, you might say, is it's basically about 15 inch or 381 mils. But if I had my time again, I think with the GPS is actually a lot better these days. What they call is the old 12 inch is probably would be my pick now. You do have to make sure you can interrow it. You need good GPS. You know, we keep pushing that GPS thing because it's so important. Obviously, the narrower you go, the better it's got to be. And so the crop rotation. So our typical crop rotation, a paddock like we've got out here, would be we would start off with canola, and then we would sow wheat in the canola, then we would sow barley into the wheat, and so we've got a good double stubble, and we would put beans in, if not veg or something that can grow in the mixed country. And that's our legume phase back into canola again. Probably on our heavier country, where we can grow lentils, we grow probably a lot more barley and lentils with a tighter rotation there.